It started off, my first memories being that I was way too sexual. And because it was normalized for me, it was my reality of being used as a sexual object. It didn't really dawn on me that something was wrong. I'd say my older brother was very inappropriate. And although I cannot recollect every situation, being that I was so young, the memories that I do have, was a source of endearment, but that is not an excuse as to the boundaries that were disrespected and the violation of it. And only just recently, I'd say maybe about 6 months ago, 6 months to a year ago, did my mother, Mammy, address the abuse and verbal abuse and the boundary that was crossed and was violated, being that there was an adult on the phone, on the other line of the phone, and I could not have been over 5 years old. Now, I don't recall this memory, but she states that she heard on the other line a grown man speaking sexually to me. I have no idea who that could have been. And she did not go into details of it, but was being a predator. So, no, it does not shock me and surprise me that I was hypersexualized and that I was very inappropriate as a young girl. Okay? And having witnessed my brothers being abused, and if you ask them, they'll blame me for that. Which it just goes to show that this black male and these predators, these black predatory males, refuse to hold accountable them that are actually at fault of these crimes, and furthermore, how they're quick to blame us women who have experienced abuse with them and have advocated for them as to the abuse that they had experienced. They blame me. They say it's my fault that this grown adult black male beat them, okay, and abused them. So, as revenge and as I was shipped off with my brothers to go live with my sperm donor, who is a false prophet. He's a minister at a Kojic church out in Milpitas, California, and his name is Rick Sr. Ricky Sr. And he did little to nothing to protect us, especially me, because I was a scapegoat, and I took on the abuse of the whole family, where my brothers, they contributed to the abuse of me on different levels and spectrums. They contributed to the hypersexualization with the boundaries crossed, the sexual boundaries were crossed, physical boundaries were crossed. I was abused every day. They threw me under the bus every time. I was always the cause of all the problems. According to them, I was always the reason why the family had problems. And I was not. And that is not a family. Now this whole thing, my perception and perspective based on the experience of abuse and trauma is that the only reason why white supremacy is even able to be alive is due to the failure for black males and females inability to stand up for what's right, their inability to support each other, and the absolute contribution to the abuse, especially against us women and young children, male and female, so boys and girls. Okay? So when I was 5, I was shipped off to live with the sperm donor and his sadistic, racist, so-called racist. And by racist, I mean she implemented the colorism, being that her mixed breed children, her mixed race and biracial children were the superiors, and me, especially me, I was targeted, and being through nearly almost 10 years of being isolated, of being subjugated to sadism, being used as the punching bag, sleep deprived, my food was regulated and deprived. I had to be escorted throughout the house. We lived in the suburbs, yes. Any compliment or praise that I received from outsiders or relatives, so-called relatives, was always intercepted with either my sperm donor's sadist wife intercepting it and giving credit to herself or to the other children, or always taking my praise and taking my spotlight from me. You know, I was praised on my artistic ability. I was praised on my well-behaved. I had a decent behavior. I was a introverted child. I started off being, confident and stuff with my, well, maybe not confident, but outspoken, and that was quickly annihilated. It was quickly annihilated, and it was systemically within that hierarchy, within this dysfunctional family construct. Religion was used as another tool to suppress my anger, to suppress my voice. CPS came when I was 6 years old. My first grade teacher had reported the violence that was going on in that house, because there was bruises on my back and on my buttocks, on my butt, and the pack of wolves that they dare call themselves a family, their excuse and the alibi was that I fell off my bike, and I did this interview with the interviewer from the CPS with my sperm donor present, and addressed the issues that were going on inside of that house. And instead of me being removed and being put into a safe situation, and for these so-called social services and programs intervening and ensuring my safety, it was swept under the rug, and nothing resulted as far as anything. No one was held accountable for the abuse. I was molested by one of the sons of my sperm donor's sadistic so-called wife, and he was not held accountable. I had to witness my brothers having a gun pointed at their temples because the sadist so-called stepmother who forced me and would and made it a thing, and made it a rule and mandatory that I called her mom, No such thing. And for all those years, it sickened me to my core to call this predator a mother. No such thing. They denied my communication with my own mother. And when my mother implemented and stated that I could return back home to her, first it was fine, and that plan was in effect. But yet all of a sudden, the sperm donor submits to the sadist right alongside with the pawn called her daughter, Ashlyn, the golden child, who could do no wrong and was never held accountable for all the abuse and all of the false allegations of molestation. Meanwhile, while I'm being molested and was exposed to this, including from this sadist, she would have my brothers escort me around the house. They had to bathe me. I mean, and even when I was a preteen and teenager, because I stayed there till I was 13. So from 5 to 13, okay? She was never held accountable. Her birthday is on Valentine's Day. She had a luxurious and entitled life and abused me. Every gift that was given by my mother was destroyed. They destroyed and withheld. I was not allowed to have anything of my own to have as my own possession. All of my toys, all of the letters, all of the gifts, not even my own birthdays were celebrated. Because the sadist's birthday was on the 1st and mine was on the 3rd of September, she always stole any recognition of me and anything. That whole fucking dysfunctional pack of wolves, predators, my abusers, deprived everything of me. Even Christmases were deprived from me. Anything I got, anything from anyone. There was one situation where my cousin Onisha had purchased a little workout doll, like it was like a knockoff of a Barbie, and she had this knockoff of Barbie had the little parts, little plastic toys. She was like a gym doll, you know, a little workout doll. Okay, and then she bought me a little ice cream thing, because it was for my belated birthday, and because I had mentioned that my birthday had passed, and because I had gotten these gifts from the flea market, you know, it wasn't that expensive. Just a little fucking knockoff Barbie doll with some little parts to go with it to play with, because I received something and somebody recognized me and gave me something. My own blood family members, mind you. The sadist, the fake ass mother, it would call me nigger, would call me ugly, fat, all this crap, whore, worthless, stupid, and all the sorts of just verbal abuse and attacks. She pointed out that no one else in the family got anything, yet she is not there. Her children are not even blood related to Onisha. I am. So for them, I got beaten. My toys, I never was able to receive my toys. I was punished. There was times where I had to sit in the trunk of the car or sit on the floor of the car while the other family members, the pack of wolves, dishonorable members, abusers, could hit me. When I tried to speak up about things, I was assaulted with violence from the whole club of them. And the sperm donor witnessed several of these attacks and did nothing to prevent it or protect me. He ignored it and denial, blatant denial, and turned a blind eye. He too used violence against me. I got a C+ in math. A C+ in math, and I got a beating for that. Stood in corners for hours, having to write sentences standing up, and the one time that I finally had the courage to sit down because I was tired of standing up for endless hours, writing over and over sentences, pages of sentences about how I won't sin, and I will respect my parents, and how I won't lie and I won't steal. Food deprived from me. I was skinny and still called fat. And then as for another punishment, where I had to eat huge portions of if we can call it food, as a way to humiliate me in the effort to prove absolutely nothing. That because I was deprived of food, and sometimes I would have to repeat the ritual of prayer before eating, and I would forget sometimes how the whole entire prayer went because it was a long fucking ritual. And being deprived of food and having brain fog, they laughed at me because I started crying, because I couldn't remember the whole entire prayer, and I couldn't have been over 8 years old. And I was sent to bed, no food, and they continued to do this. Where if I did not remember, I could not eat. I could not eat anything until I remembered the ritual prayer. My class or my training of learning how to swim, not even a fun activity was able to be enjoyed, or playtime was not able to be enjoyed, because I was thrown into the pool, and if I grabbed onto the sides or doggy paddled, I was punished for that. My brothers in the pool damn near would have allowed me to die, because I was trying to learn how to swim, and they were forcing me to learn how to do it. And they're like, how far can you go from one end of the pool to the other? So I tried, and then I started sinking to the bottom, and I'm just looking up, not getting it. And I hear them while underwater. And my eldest brother, he just stands there in the middle of the pool. And he did nothing. And I seen the look on his face like, I don't know what to do. I can't think for myself. I know it's wrong, but I'm not going to do anything because I'm listening to her. I'm following instructions. I'm following orders. So then finally he comes and rescues me after he receives instruction to come and get me from drowning in the middle of this pool. So then it progressed to that. So then, during the summer and then being in the pool, and I wasn't allowed to have a no peace of mind, no nothing of mine, everything. So then reading was something else I was punished for. Reading books, I was punished for, and I was told, come down and join the family, as if there was ever such a thing. I was parentified also. So anything that I did to empower myself or to escape my reality of daily abuse and trauma was always attacked. Even my hair being done, and I had long, healthy hair, I was smacked, hit, because she would comb my hair in such a way to where I would, fall over sometimes. And instead of her realizing, like someone with empathy would understand, you're pulling too hard and yanking and doing all this, and I'm a young child, I can't, telling me to sit still. Well, why don't you learn how to fucking have some goddamn courtesy and use some fucking care and gentleness instead of just ripping and yanking at my fucking hair? Okay? And then she cut my hair off when I was 13. And to such an ugly cut. Was ridiculed at school for it. So that happened. I finally was able to go live with my mother when I was 13. And the departure of that, they mailed me a Bible. Karen Churchwell, the sadist, she mailed me a Bible with all these highlighted, scriptures and stuff. And condescending as could be, vicious, evil. She said I'm a whore and that I'll be pregnant before I'm 16. Nobody's going to care about me. And everyone is going to use me and take advantage of me. No one will love me. That was the storyline. So then I went from that only to be, of course I was prepared for all of the abuse coming from black males. Having been raped, assaulted, exploited, prostituted off, denied any type of security when I would attempt, even from coworkers, was raped by a coworker, a black male. So when I reported this to the boss, when I reported this to the police, nothing was done. Just the same as before I did my attempted suicide. Black male raped me and then assaulted me, attempted to kill me, murder me in my own apartment. I worked 3 jobs, and because I had was able to go to my job, made it to work on time, did a great job, and they didn't have an excuse, a legitimate excuse to get rid of me. I had passed the probation period, the 90 days, and after 90 days, when you go through a fake the scam of a temp agency, you're supposed to be hired directly through the company. But hey, they had a plot twist and a loophole and brought up my old charges of prostitution, of solicitation. But yet my prostitution charges and solicitation charges and undeserved second-degree robbery, because the police, right alongside pimps and other black males, predators, were able to steal my resources, were able to lock me up, and then I was released. I had no hygiene products or anything to, take care of myself, because my pedophile of a false prophet pastor, right alongside with the sadist fake mother Karen, right alongside with the spineless creature, passive sperm donor, refused to protect me, refused to offer any type of support to me, and they wrote me off like a bad check. They used my name and my information to get loans out in my name. Okay, they got a car loan and a mortgage loan out in my name. Okay. So I was neglected and abandoned. I had never, even when I was in their possession, because there was no care, was running away from the house at 8 years old. Nothing happened. Nothing came of it. Every opportunity that I reached out to someone for help and assistance, it was denied. The sperm donor's mother, the so-called grandmother, assisted in the humiliation of me by telling me to close my legs because her pedophile fucking husband had an issue. They don't hold them accountable for anything. No one was held accountable for anything. Even when reporting these issues, nothing. Yeah, so being fired from this job that I worked for, passing the probation period, going to work on time, being underpaid at jobs, but yet when I needed a time off to take care of my own child, I was denied that. Finding out that a white high school student with no previous history, yet I'm overqualified with far too much experience, being paid more than me. And being told by the so-called manager that it's a privilege to work. please. So all these the hashtag Me Too's and MGTOW and this whole thing of blacks being inferior and how our problem is racism. No, our problem is that black women, right along with so-called black women, so-called black children, boys and girls alike, are exploited and used, and we are misrepresented. We've never been protected in almost every culture and group. Any party, any so-called community has repetitively, consistently denied has denied respect, has denied protection, has denied our rights, we've been deprived of our resources. So then finally, when I attempt to kill myself, then I'm even more, I was assaulted by the EMS, by him trying to suffocate me in the back of the EMS by plugging up my nose and covering my mouth. And I wasn't fearful. Finally, he let go. And it's like, he's just a fucking parasite. These are the people that y'all trust. All I asked him is, why are you so afraid of me? Why are we denied any recognition as to our suffragists? Why are black males abusing us? Why are our so-called family members exploiting us? So then when we are thrown into, more chaos, and then we're deprived of resources, we slaved our asses off. We worked. I graduated high school early. I did everything that I needed to do, and yet still, they want to complain about us being the welfare queens. Yet when I had applied, when I was working and falling behind, after having my car, someone tampering my car to where it lit on fire while on my way to work, was on fire. All of a sudden, out of it, just all the several times, and I took care of the little things that I had. Yeah, it is lit on fire. Sabotage. So after jumping from that train and still being ridiculed by so-called Somalians, saying that I'm a whore, because I was naked when I did this. Nothing, no empathy, no nothing. Sexually assaulted. They didn't do a rape kit. They drugged me. They put me on a fake ass probation. That's what they put me on, was probation for attempting to take my own life. This is the disease. It's ill. We're not in your news. Nobody's asking us questions. Nobody's giving us what we are owed. We're owed something more than an apology. The denial. How many of you are exploiting these services? Yet the little bit, the handouts that we get, yet when we didn't want to fall behind, we wanted to, catch up and stuff. No. The abuse, even after, where a Somalian boy, male, fucking recording me on his fucking phone, telling me to turn around and show my ass. Where these Somalian females at the fucking bar calling me a hoe and a whore. That's what I get to hear and am treated like, even after attempting to take my own life, where both of my wrists had broken, had fractured. They were broken and snapped in directions where I couldn't even put them back in a normal position. Still to this day, I have pain. Yet at these hospitals, they deny me of pain medication, stating that I'm going to abuse drugs. Yet they had tested me. They had tested my blood, still accusing me of being a drug abuser. Yet there was no drugs detected. There was no drug detected. No drugs detected. There was no drugs detected in my urine or in my blood. Yet they disqualified my cries of pain still to this day, and and they have the nerve to tell me, well, just go to the physical therapy, as if that's going to cater to the pain that I get every day due to my wrist being, doing a whole 360, being fractured. They had to re-break my wrist after having starving me to do a surgery, and using that as leverage to control me, and then to continue to drug me because of my rage, because I wasn't able to eat or drink anything, yet you're able to inject me with more drugs. And then they write in these reports about how I was not complicit, I was not cooperating. I can't cooperate with you when you keep drugging me. This is what I had to deal with and have to deal with. So now I'm clarified, and they're proclaiming that I'm incompetent and that I'm psychotic, and I have no healthy perception of the reality, the scam, the obvious abuse and scam and hypocrisy. And y'all want to cry out, me too? Yet this is what's happening in this system, where no one's held accountable, where a Somalian nurse can tell me to stop telling my story. She told me, stop telling my story. Another Somalian female telling me if I don't shut up, that she won't give me a shower because I was unable to wash myself. They drugged me. They put me on this Jarvis order, which can basically be translated to a probation due to me attempting to take my own life because of the abuse. It's absolutely shameful what you Americans, what you guys consider yourself to be American. You don't point out the hypocrisy in yourselves, and then shift the blame and leave out the traumatic experiences on us, the most misrepresented and invisibles. We're invisible to you. You make it seem as if you're doing us a favor. Abusing us and raping us and exploiting us is a favor and a privilege. And then you highlight the percentages in the population of the entitled class. I don't see you as an entitled class. I see you as a collective group alike. I put you all in the same group. I put black males in the same group as a lot of European females. A lot of you European females have exploited your own husbands and brothers. A lot of you have been abused, yes. And a lot of times you have the support and resources. You use those same programs that you have the audacity to state that you're entitled to because you're an American, which is blasphemy and hypocrisy on a large scale. Your cognitive dissonance. Yet you can use these titles and words and laws and rules and codes, regulations against me. You throw the book at me. When I was charged with second-degree robbery, as if I had some weapon. Yet a European female who went in there to steal stuff to go and get drugs. I was going in there to get hygiene products. And then was physically assaulted by the security guard in order for him to get $100 if there was a charge that was brought to me. Yet the European female who stole to go and get her drugs was never consequenced. I was, with a second-degree robbery, which then gives these companies, these so-called jobs, an excuse and a loophole to be able to deny me access to a life and then hire another for low wages. That's the exploitation of your temp services. It's the exploitation of your, what you consider to be your country. You've stolen everything. You've misrepresented it, and then these black males have put their submission and inability to protect their own sisters and mothers and aunts and cousins, friends, the ones who they use. You are guilty of the abuse too, black males collectively. You've been able to make money and profit and be able to live a life off of us, off of our suffering. You promote violence and degradation against us. Black History Month, you have to have Martin Luther King Jr. Day? You kidding me? As if us women have not defended y'all when you don't even deserve to be defended. That's why I'm done. I've given up. I give up. The same way many of you groups, so-called American or not, have consistently never stopping to point out the error in your own rules, the error in your own code. You make yourself out to be the only victims, the only ones who get a highlight and spotlight to point out the wrongs and injustices. Yet when we tell you about the problems, no one is ever brought to justice. We're told that we're welfare queens. Yet when I go to social services offices and have 3 jobs, I made too much money in order to get food stamps. Pathetic. Landlords scamming. You're not landlords. I am. We're the ones who have been deprived of everything. Our voices have been silenced. Our story has been written off. We're the ones who are pointed out to be, and you make these allegations, and you make this it's just you violate us. You deny us our entitlement. You deny us our entitlement. You deny us our support and our protection and our security. You denied us even to tell our fucking story. You always add yourself in. What about us? What about you? I've seen the system work for you whether you were right or wrong. I've seen protection for you even when you were wrong. I've seen injustices happen for many of you females when you're wrong. I've seen you be able to steal. I've seen you been able to be catered to live a comfortable life, to use drugs, to prostitute yourself, to be violent, to exploit, to deprive. I've seen you do it to your own children. I know you do it to your own children, and you did it to me too. So I'm ugly to you? Good. Perhaps that'll make me much safer. You want to say that I need to close my legs? Okay, well then stop fucking raping me. Black males, you want to tell us about how our so-called black women are nothing? No, you're not nothing. Because you abused us. You exploited us, kidnapped us. We did time in jail and in prison. We're robbed by you and this system. And by you females. Who cry when it happens to you. But did nothing but stand by and watch as it happened to us, and then humiliate and make a joke of it. Like I said, as if it's a privilege to be abused, as if it's a privilege to slave for you, as if it's a privilege to be paid less than you, yet do a better job oftentimes than you, to be denied access to information and education and opportunities based on bias and hatred and superiority that I don't believe you have. I believe I am superior based off of my behaviors, and I did not take justice into my own hands. I did not murder you. I did not rape you. I helped you, assisted you, was used by you. Have been here all along, making exceptions for you. Things are going to change, and like I said, even if my heart don't beat in this corpse, you better know that you can't get rid of the truth. I come back, because you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about it. The truth stays. It dies with me, and it comes with me. It comes with me, it stays with me, and it goes with me.